Well, developing now, the new U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is banning the Justice Department from sending money to sanctuary cities.
And that's on top of a lawsuit filed just today against Illinois and the city of Chicago for not cooperating with ICE raids. Now, all of this, of course, has city and state leaders anxious about the impact, with billions of dollars potentially in federal funding at stake here.
Several days later.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry we were a little bit late. I was in the West Wing swearing in Tulsi Gabbard, and so I just came straight back here. So thanks for being patient with us with the delay. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a major lawsuit from the Justice Department coming on behalf of the Attorney General, Ms. Pam Bondi, who has decided to file charges against New York Governor Kathy Hochul and State Attorney General Letitia James, plus others, over the sanctuary status of the state, okay? AKA the state harbors illegal immigrants, criminals, and goes out of their way to make it harder for the federal government to enforce federal law to catch, arrest, and deport the illegal immigrants. And because of that, the Justice Department is saying, you know what? We're going to file a lawsuit. They just did with Illinois as well, too, okay? Also, on top of that, Ms. Pam Bondi has frozen federal funds to the sanctuary cities as well, too. Okay, so she is quite literally throwing the legal book at the sanctuary cities and states, and she's going one by one. Okay, that's what's happening. And the reason why this is happening is because while the mainstream liberal media boohoo whines and cries about the cost of the mass deportations, these sanctuary cities are making it much harder for the feds to do their jobs, which is causing the taxpayers to have to pay more money for what we voted for, right? We voted for the mass deportations, and the Democrats are going out of their way to make the mass deportations more expensive than they should be because they don't want to cooperate. So basically, they're forcing taxpayers to waste money. And that, in my opinion, is definitely a good cause to not only go after them legally, but also, who knows, maybe criminally in the future.
And that's why President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois, strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA, ATF agents. They put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York, where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you. Questions?
We have time for a few questions. David Spott with Fox News.
Madam Attorney General, thank you and welcome to the Justice Department.
Thank you.
I have a quick on-topic and a quick off-topic question. On-topic, in your executive order or in your orders on the first day you were here, you talked about working with the Justice Department or these sanctuary cities, as you say, will be punished? Today you're putting people on notice. Right now we're just lawsuits. Is this going to go further? What kind of punishment are we talking about? Is there any grounds to charge individuals, charge politicians? How far is this going to go?
Well, we're going to see what they do next, David. We have sued them all. We've personally sued the governor, the attorney general, Letitia James, and Mark Schroeder with DMV because he has the green light laws. So what they have to do, they have to start complying with federal law. If they don't, we're going to appeal it and we will win. They have to comply with federal law.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, this is going to be the start of what's probably going to be a pretty long legal battle over sanctuary cities, right? But it is a battle that must be waged in the courts. And who knows, maybe it will go to the Supreme Court. Regardless, if/when these Democrats lose, and I'm praying to God, hoping that they lose, because a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants, apparently they got sanctuary cities there for transgender people, right? Because of Trump's executive orders and some of the laws being passed by the GOP. But anyways, any sanctuary city, any city that it has laws on the books with the intent to not comply with federal laws, that shouldn't be allowed, right? Like that shouldn't be a thing. But my point is that if/when they lose and they still refuse to comply, that's when the arrests come in, right? That's when we get the real fireworks, okay? That's when we get what I really want to see. I really want to see these Democrats arrested. And nothing will make me happier than to see Letitia James in handcuffs and thrown behind bars, okay? Now, I thought nothing would make me happier than to see Brandon Johnson. But Brandon Johnson is so soft that who knows, right? I don't know if he can handle it, right? I don't know if he could handle being thrown in jail, right? I just don't know. He might lose his mind, okay? But with that being said, yeah, I mean, that's when that comes. Okay, so, you know, their refusal to comply, which Letitia James has already directed some of the hospitals in New York not to comply with President Trump's executive orders regarding gender-affirming care for minors. Yeah, their refusal to comply, hopefully, I'm hoping that results in an arrest, right? Because, you know, people like Letitia James need to be held accountable for the lawfare that she has waged in this country over the past 4 to 5 years against President Trump. I mean, this woman openly ran on, I'm going to get Trump, right? I'm going to get Trump. She openly ran on that. And that's exactly what she did. She weaponized her office to do just that. I mean, just blatantly, right in front of your face. And of course, the mainstream liberal media, they turned their head, they looked the other way and pretended as if this was legitimate. Again, it's amazing how that works. So that being said, again, Illinois is already going through this. So let's learn a little bit more about how Democrats are reacting to these lawsuits from the DOJ.
In the meantime, the Justice Department is suing the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois over their sanctuary laws and policies. The state's Democrat governor, J.B. Pritzker, has been a longtime vocal critic of President Trump. The governor today defending his state's actions and vowing to fight the lawsuit.
As they come and try to attack the state of Illinois, and that's what they're doing. You know, the lawsuits are against laws on the books in Illinois. I mean, unlike Donald Trump, we follow the law in Illinois. But in Illinois, we have grit, we are tough, we are strong, and Donald Trump has no idea what he's up against.
All right, correspondent Alex Carpiello live here in Chicago. Alex, the governor really remaining steadfast in his response to this lawsuit.
Yeah, that press conference wrapped up just moments ago. We saw the Illinois governor really go on the defense, backing up the merits of the Illinois Trust Act, the law, the part of the Constitution that's at the center of it all, which we know protects undocumented immigrants and also prohibits the state, county, and local law enforcement from directly assisting federal immigration officers. This is the reason why Chicago and Illinois has been the center of the federal government's attention. The governor says that lawsuit really is just a distraction to what the federal government is doing. He says that's violating immigrant civil rights. He also says his state's lawyers are going through that 23-page lawsuit as we speak, and they're going to fight back to protect the state's constitution as it's currently written. Keep in mind.
Wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Guys, the optics on this. Do Democrats not understand the optics right now? You're fighting to protect sanctuary status of a city that is filled with illegal immigrants committing crimes. 60% of American people agree with mass deportations. 60%. Like, you're standing against the will of the people. The people have already spoken. They don't approve of this. But yet Democrats are standing in opposition to what the American people want. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Democrats have just decided, no, we're just going to side against the American people. We're letting you know that we just don't agree with the American people. Why even fight this battle? Why not let the feds come and clean up your city, right? I don't get it. Why not? Eric Adams is the only Democrat playing this right, right? He's the only one that's smart enough to realize, hey, you know what? It's probably a good idea to work with the feds to help clean up my city, right? To get rid of some of these criminals. That's a smart thing to do, okay? That's a smart thing to do. All these other Democrats, they've decided to double and triple down on the extremism. And again, the illegal immigration issue, that one it really blows my mind, because not too long ago, the Democrat Party was actually tough on illegal immigration, right? Anybody listen to Hillary Clinton, Obama, Joe Biden talk about illegal immigration back in just the 2000s, 20 years ago, right? Listen to them talk about illegal immigration 20 years ago. And then listen to them talk about it today. They have just gone off the deep end. They've gone off the deep end. And that's the thing. Like, all Democrats got to do is rewind the clock, right? If they just rewind the clock, I don't know, back to the 90s, if that's what they made their party today, then they probably win. They probably win. But the thing, they just don't realize it, right? I don't know why. But the leadership, they just refuse. They're just like, nah, we're not going to do that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It's their party. I just don't understand it from a political perspective. I don't understand defending this. I really don't. I will never understand it.
However, Nicole, the Illinois Trust Act isn't wildly popular among all levels of law enforcement here in the state. I got behind the wheel with the deputies of Winnebago County and spoke directly to the sheriff there. He says there are times his department notices red flags when someone is arrested, or his deputies are alerted to someone who is wanted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. But without that signed judicial warrant, the sheriff's hands are tied. He wants some amendments made to the existing law that would give his deputies more power to assist in deporting dangerous illegal criminals, and he thinks the recent DOJ lawsuit could be what opens that door for change.
We just learned the Department of Justice is suing the state of Illinois over this Illinois Trust Act. What's your immediate response to hearing that?
Well, hopefully it opens some doors and some communications between local and feds, and say, again, let's re-engineer it. Let's do some common sense and draw some lines of demarcation on what local law enforcement can do along with the feds.
Sheriff says he does not believe that this is a partisan issue, but rather a public safety issue. That being said, he recognizes that the Trust Act is the law of the land here in Illinois, so he will continue to follow it. But he is still looking and hoping for that change.
All right.
Wow. Again, I don't get it, right? I don't understand what is it politically about this issue that Democrats have decided they're going to die on this hill. Well, what is the benefits? I actually do know. I know. This is how they shuffle money back to their liberal nonprofit friends, right? And then they turn around and they make the donations back to the Democrats. It's all basically a big money laundering scheme with taxpayer dollars using illegal immigrants, right? That's actually what's going on. Okay, you guys understand what happens, right? People like Brandon Johnson, they support these laws. They use this as an excuse to spend taxpayer dollars on these liberal nonprofits run by their friends. They get paid millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They turn around and give kickbacks to the politicians in the form of campaign donations and lavish gifts, right? That's what they do. And that's the game. That's the game.
So the sheriff hoping for change there, Alex. The federal government really seems to be making an example of Illinois as a sanctuary state, but how does it rank specifically among the other states when it comes to immigration?
Well, we've been looking at some recent data and numbers, particularly numbers that are flowing in since President Trump regained the White House, and it shows that Illinois has more than 500,000 illegal immigrants living within its borders. However, when you look at the big picture compared to the other sanctuary states out there, it actually ranks 4th among them. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. According to the Center for Immigration Studies, Illinois has an estimated 530,000 illegal immigrants, but that ranks behind New York, New Jersey, and California, of course, which has the most by far, an estimated 3 million people living in the Golden State that are considered undocumented immigrants.
Wow.
Thanks for watching.
Sounds to me like they need to focus a vast majority of their operations in California, right? Sounds to me like there should be a lawsuit against California. That should be the next target from Pam Bondi, right? But I think she's saving that one for last, right? She's saving the big one for last. So with that being said, regardless, this is the second warning shot. I'm hoping that these sanctuary city Democrats, I hope they continue to defy, right? I hope they refuse to comply, and that way we can see the arrest, right? That's when the arrests come in. But you know, if they also choose to comply, that's also good too, okay? Because we will see more illegal immigrants arrested. And again, I just think it's a damn shame that Democrats are allowed to basically make taxpayers spend more money on mass deportations by harboring illegal immigrant criminals. I mean, this is something that should not be allowed in this country. But hey, you know, Democrats are showing us once again that they stand against the American people. They're the party against the American people at this point, right? I mean, that's what it is. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.